You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
Made it through Thanksgiving weekend. Welcome. It is Sunday night. I'm Alan Ray, your humble host. It's Sunday night with Alan Ray. What a great 4-day weekend we had. My kids all came across state, and we had an excellent time. Actually, it was just Anthony, which you have on my show all the time. You know, you've heard him. It was me and Anthony and my wife for Thanksgiving Day. And we didn't even have turkey. We had Cornish game hens. And I was happy for that. You have to understand, I'm more than elated for that. And then the day after that, Friday, was like the bomb. Now, Anthony was feeling a little bit under the weather. He didn't partake in this festivity with us, which I really feel bad that he wasn't feeling all that good. He went home and crashed. Hopefully he's on the mend and doing better. The plague is going through again. It's November, and everybody still thinks it's 70 outside, even though it's not. And everybody's starting to herd inside, which means you're breathing each other's germs, and people are getting sick. Well, more on that later. But anyways, but my other two kids and their significant others came across state from the Grand Rapids area, and we had a huge bonfire on Friday night, and it started about 8 o'clock. And ended about midnight when the holiday train, the Canadian Pacific holiday train, rolled through. Now, if you are a regular listener of this show, first of all, thank you very much. But you also know that every once in a while you hear in the background a train rolling through. Yes, we are that close to a railroad track. I have about 3.5 acres of property, and the railroad track clips the back corner of my property. The southeastern corner of my property. It's that close. And so my fire pit is back by the barn, which is probably 100, maybe 120 yards away from where you're hearing me live on Sunday night. It's a nice little fire pit, and it's kind of maybe a third or more between here and the railroad track. And we had we had a whole bunch of sticks, lumber, logs that have fallen out of the trees back during the ginormous ice storm we had in the spring. And so we had a lot to burn. We had a ton of stuff to burn. Plus, I've been working, cleaning out, reclaiming my barn. So there's skids in there and stuff like that. I mean, we lit everything up. And as long as you were within a 10-foot diameter of the fire, it was toasty. We just basically had regular coats on and hats and not even wearing gloves. And it was a nice toasty fire. We had some big pine logs that I brought home from my mother-in-law's house. She had a bunch of trees cut down. And let me tell you what, once that stuff got hot, it was hot. At one point, about 10 o'clock, we got hungry, so we ordered a pizza, and they delivered it right out to us. It was an awesome night. We haven't had a bonfire of that magnitude out there basically since the kids have left. I mean, it's been a while. So it was a beautiful night. And of course, we had ham radio set up going. I had a couple of friends. One of them was in the town just northeast of here. Like the last stop before, the train would roll through here. And we were communicating back and forth, and we had another guy that was inside. He was kind of watching. He's near the railroad tracks, too. He was watching things. My wife was feeding us info, and we're just all going back and forth, laughing, cutting up, telling old stories. Didn't realize that the temperature had dropped to 19 degrees. So the second you stepped away from the fire, the grass was frozen. It was very crunchy. It was very cold. I mean, just instant frostbite. It was crazy. But we stayed around the fire until the train, it was confirmed going through the little town of Britain, Michigan. And then we all, which means it was probably 5 minutes away, maybe 6 minutes away from our house. So we all walked down to the crossroads just back behind our house. We got a great footage of it. Great footage. The Canadian Pacific holiday train. So technically, now, if you know me, I'm Captain Introvert. I'm not a guy who does a whole lot of things. Technically, that was the first Christmas party of the season, the day after Thanksgiving. Am I on a roll here? Now, not only that, but I also received just today, I purchased my first Christmas present for somebody, my wife, and it came today. I'm miles ahead. I'm feeling like I've accomplished something here. So, hey, it's about 10 after 9. If you find yourself traversing about the interwebs and you missed In the Crease with Jeff, shame on you. It was a great show. Great, very informative, very historic, and the history nerd stuff. And the whole theme of the show is, it's kind of the whole, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. And yeah, I agree with them. That's kind of where we're going. But get in the chat room at www.klrnradio.com, where you will see people like GR, Jeff, you just heard. You got Orty in there. Yours truly is in there. You got Big Mike in there, Rex. You got Evo in there. And you have Raptor. Raptor, you're going to hate me. I'm sorry, dude. But you're going to hate me. I got to talk about it. But hey, let's get it going. We don't want to sit around talking about nothing but Thanksgiving stuff. Time's a wasting. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. So, yeah, and, of course, yesterday, Saturday, I can't tell you how long it has been since I basically plopped my backside down on a couch. And after the little party we had Friday night, we were all a little bit injured. We were all kind of snotting and sniffing. My sinuses still haven't recovered yet because, it's still, you're breathing all that smoke and you got that cold air. It just goes right to your bone. Yesterday, I sat around and I watched football. All right. I can't tell you how long it's been since I have sat there all day. The women folk of the family, they did the shopping thing. They got up, they went into town, they did all their things. And my son-in-law and I, we took we took the dogs out. He brought his dog Rocket down, which if you follow me on Twitter at TucsonandKale65, you've seen pictures of Rocket, big old black lab dog. And we took Ava, my lab beagle mix, which we're still trying to figure that out. We took them for a nice 2.5 mile walk, got back, 2 mile walk, I should say, got back. And of course the pups were pooped. They got up on the couches, which it's allowed in my house. You might not be able to sit at my house, but by gosh, my dog's going to sit on the couch in my house. They crashed on the couches. The cat crashed on, one of the dog beds. And the son-in-law and I kicked on football and watched it all day, well into the night. And you know what? No regrets. It was an awesome day. And yes, Raptor, we're going to talk about the Michigan-Ohio State game, but might not come out the way you think I'm going to come out. I mean, here's the thing. I have watched decades of Michigan-Ohio State games. It's kind of funny. The only time I've ever attended a Michigan-Ohio State game was actually at Ohio State, where my uncle and aunt were professors. But I've watched decades. Bo Schembechler, Woody Harrelson, I'm from that era. Bo and Woody going at it toe-to-toe. Woody grabbing face masks of his players and screeching at them. Bo throwing clipboards and bellowing at the officials. That's the era I grew up in. I'm used to a bloodbath, of an all-out battle. My take on, and yes, we're going to talk sports. We're going to talk sports ball, guys. We're going to have to do it because there's more than one game, and this is an exciting time of year. My take on that game is it looked like there were two 11-0 teams out there trying to win a football game. I'm not handing any easy victory to either team. Yes, it was 24-30. Michigan won. Congratulations, guys. It's going to make my job a heck of a lot easier. Woo-woo, all that stuff, go blue. But going forward, I'm going to give you the lowdown truth. There were a couple of possessions there where Ohio State took it to Michigan's defense. Michigan's defense is supposed to be the best in the country, supposed to be one of the best in the country. Ohio State walked it down to the goal line and across. Not just once, but a couple of times. The difference in that game, in my opinion, in my not-so-expert opinion, was that very first interception that was thrown early in the game, and Michigan got a touchdown on it. That was the difference of the game. That was an all-out slugfest between two 11-0 teams. And much respect for Ohio State. They kicked some butt. They really, really did. Now, here's the thing that's killing me. And you know, we know that Coach Ryan Day and the coach from Penn State both were the ones that stirred up the NCAA to go after Jim Harbaugh. We know why. I think it's a cheap shot. I think it's a bunch of crap. I don't know of a team out there that doesn't try to gain an edge. Ohio State and Penn State and all of them included. In fact, Jim Harbaugh's even come out and said, look, if you want to go down this path, I can release a whole bunch of information that make these guys look just as bad. Do you want to do this? And the lawsuit is actually going to court. This is all going to court. But let's set that aside for a minute. I think that sucks. I think it's stupid. The whole thing is stupid. I think it's unfair to the players. But I can't for the life of me understand why Ohio State fans are screeching for Ryan Day to be fired. He's got a great record. Yes, I know he's been beat by Michigan 3 times in a year, 3 years in a row. So what? Michigan's been beat by Ohio State 3 years in a row before. It happens. You have to build your dynasty. Why would you cut a guy who's got a winning record? Winning record. He's 40-0 against the rest of the Big Ten. Why would you cut him out? I mean, he's a great coach. Now, got to get this in because it is what it is. He also got his butt handed to him by an assistant coach, by a substitute coach, by somebody who has only really coached U of M for 3 games, and that's because Harbaugh got benched. Or was it 6? Did he do that? Because Harbaugh had to set the first 3 games, too, for something else. Now, do I think Harbaugh's not a little bit shady? Oh, yeah. Harbaugh's a little bit shady. I don't know of a coach in the NCAA who's not shady. But I think Ohio State fans are being stupid right now. I really do. Yeah, he's lost 3 years in a row. Yeah, John Cooper rings a bell. Right. You know, why would you want this coach to be fired when he's got a winning record? He just needs a little more incentive. He just needs to get that extra few, you know. And this game, it was neck and neck all the way up till the end. Either team could have walked away with that win. If it wasn't for one play where the defensive line got through, hit Ohio State's quarterback, he threw a fairly bad pass and ended up right into the hands of Moore. And that was the end of the game. They were marching down the field up until that point. If that interception would not have happened, I think would have at least went into overtime. Or Ohio State probably would have got the touchdown, extra point, and would have won. You know, Michigan players, they're celebrating. We're going to give them the celebration. We're going to give them the win. Go Blue. But they better not be walking around strutting too proudly. If they think they're going for the national title, if they think they're going for the national championship, they need to reform and figure out what they're going to do. Because actually, to tell you the truth, I think the last 3 games, if you can pinpoint them, I don't think their defense has been all that impressive. I don't think their offense has been all that impressive. They started out the season scoring like 48 points on people and not allowing any points against them. And it's exactly it. Jeff, you're exactly it. Harbaugh was about ready to get canned because he couldn't beat Ohio State. And you got to admit, let's back up just a split second. You have to admit, when you're Michigan or Ohio State, you can literally lose every single game on the schedule. But if you beat Ohio State, or if you're Ohio State and you beat Michigan, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to come back the next year. That's just how it is. So, you know, Michigan won. It was a great game. Blake Corum, man, he was crazy. And then we had that very tragic incident with Zach Zentner where he got his leg broken. And, yes, he got his tibia and fibula broken. It was like a cut all the way down. Man, I seen that, and it was very cringy. But overall, that was a very well-played game. And to tell you the truth, both teams showed class and sportsmanship. Good job, guys. Now, let's talk about Auburn and Alabama. And Mike, I know you'll hate me for this, but I was live tweeting the Auburn-Alabama game just because I have no dog in that fight. I have a butt ton of friends from Alabama, okay? Let's put it that way. It was like the last 5 minutes of that game, maybe 7 minutes of that game, or like, I don't know. It was a strange, grotesque competition of who was going to blow it the worst. Auburn, they had the game. They had the game in the bag. They really did. They did stupid things, got the ball turned over. I can't understand. And Alabama, the last series of the game, was moving the wrong way. They were literally punching themselves in the crotch, going backwards. It was horrible. I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, the last play of the game, I have nightmares about it. And the thing I have nightmares about, and this is from a guy who has spent several years in a press box, running scoreboards, helping do stats, stuff like that. I'm looking at Auburn's defensive line. Yes, they had 3 guys up front. They sent everybody deep because they knew there was going to be a pass. The 3 guys pretty much gave up on putting any pressure whatsoever on the quarterback. None. They were just standing there kind of playing handsies with the offensive line of Alabama. You can't do that. The game was on the line. What are you doing? They needed to be like pushing, shoving, being violent, trying to get to that quarterback, and they just gave up. And yes, Bond, the Bond number, that is what, 17? Is that what he is? I'm sorry, he should never have to buy his own dinner in Alabama, at least for the next year. Anybody sees that guy sitting in a restaurant, they should be picking up the tab because they owe the entire season to him. He went up after that throw, brought it down, boom. Now, that said, and I know we're rambling and talking away. They've come out with the stats. They've come out with the rankings. Let's see. ESPN came out later this afternoon, and this is the rankings for college football. Oh, by the way, we're not going to talk about the Lions. Let's not talk about the Lions. Let's really just not talk about them. They're acting more like the Lions than they used to. So here we go. You know, and you're right, Rex. Milroe put it where Bond could get it. But there again, like I said, why wasn't there any pressure on him? They were just playing handsies. This is how the rankings, and let's see if we agree with them. Football guys in the chat room, let's see if we agree with them. Georgia, number 1, I agree with. Insane. Georgia's having an insane season. If Michigan somehow ends up going for the national title, boy, they're going to have to do something pretty profound to beat Georgia. It's happened in the past. It's happened way long ago. In fact, it was many, many years ago. We won't talk about that. But they've got Georgia as ranked number 1, Michigan ranked number 2, Washington ranked number 3, Florida State ranked number 4. That's pretty easy to agree with because every one of those teams is 12-0. Washington is kind of an unknown. I mean, they've got a good season going, but they're really hot. Right now, they're going crazy. Florida State, maybe Florida State trading with Washington. Florida State 3, Washington 4. Does it matter? No. You've got the top 4 teams, and they're going. Now, let's start from 5 on down. And let's talk about this for a second. 5 is Oregon. 6 is Ohio State. 7 is Texas. And 8 is Bama. Let's go with those 4, those 4 and look at them. Do we rank Oregon number 5, Ohio State 6, Texas 7, and Alabama 8th? Do we rank them that way? I don't know. I think Alabama deserves a little more respect. Alabama, I think, should at least be 7th. Texas 8th. Maybe, I don't know, Oregon 6th, Ohio State. I'm looking at it from, let's put these 2 teams together and see who wins type of thing. I think Ohio State would beat Oregon. Oregon's coming to the Big Ten next year, by the way, people. You might not know that, but yeah, they're on the way out. Ohio State, I think if you pit them up against Oregon, I think they win. I think Alabama against Ohio State, Alabama wins. So do you put Alabama on 5th? Because honestly, I think they've had a tougher schedule. I think they play bigger names. I think they're a better team. They're better coached. I don't agree with them being 8th. And I'm not a big Alabama fan, but I'm going to call balls and strikes here. I think the 4 should be, starting with the number 5th ranking, I think it should be Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. That's what I think it should be. If we're going by talent, we're going by raw talent, we're going by how good they play, if they played each other, who would win, I think that's it. I think 5 should be Alabama, 6 should be Ohio State, 7th would be Oregon, 8th would be Texas. That's just how they are. Now, Mike, if you guys beat Georgia on Saturday, I will truly be impressed. The problem I have is every time the Big Ten, lately, at least for the 20 years or so, since the 90s, okay, Tom Brady is the last one that took it to Bama. Let's put it that way. Tom Brady playing for U of M is the last time U of M took it to Alabama. It hasn't done, the Big Ten has not done very well against Alabama or Georgia in a long, long time. So if what you're saying comes true, Mike, and Alabama does beat Georgia on Saturday, well, then I think there's your ranking right there. I think whoever knocks off the king gets to be the king. That's just the way it is. So it's going to be an interesting playoff series, and I know some of you don't like to talk sports ball and all that, but it's something that piques my interest a little bit. It's going to be a very fun postseason. Michigan, however, has to get past Iowa Hawkeyes this coming Saturday. We took it to Iowa the last time we played them. We really beat the snot out of them. But Iowa has gotten progressively better, and Michigan, I feel, has got progressively worse since we've played Iowa. I think we're missing some key players. One of them, the offensive lineman, Zach Zinter, whatever his name is, he's out for the season with a broken leg. I think we're injured, we're banged up, and they're not really showing it. I think it's going to be a struggle. I think it's going to be a fight. J.J. McCarthy's going to have to come out, and he's going to have to be firing on all 8 cylinders. He's going to have to utilize the pass game, the run game, everything he's got to get past Iowa. Will he have enough then to play whoever we're going to play? I don't know who we're going to end up playing. So it's going to be an interesting postseason. And, oh, my gosh. Yep, we're talking sports ball. We got all the way down to the bottom of the hour, if you can believe that. That's okay. That's okay. We don't do this too often, and every once in a while, you indulge it. I'm a bigger sports fan than what I let on, especially college sports. I love college hockey. I love college football. It's just an exciting time of year. When we come back, we got a whole lot of other things to talk about, including a little-known court case that could change the entire United States. And it's happening right here in the Mitten in Michigan. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back right after this short break, and we'll get on with some, I don't know, all the crap in the world that's going on. It's not football.
Listen now and don't forget, if you go for that solid jive, you can always keep the dream alive. Palin with Al.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, Think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
This afternoon, there was 1,000 pro-Palestinian protesters shutting down the Manhattan Bridge, calling for a ceasefire. During one of the year's busiest travel days in the U.S., over 1,000 far-left Jewish Americans and other pro-Palestinian activists blocked traffic at New York City's Manhattan Bridge in the latest anti-Israel protest calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. What? Wait a minute. Back up a little bit. What newspaper, what outlet calls the pro-Palestinian protesters far left? Who does that? Oh, it's the Times of Israel. Never mind. Okay, we got this. They're far left. They're a bunch of left-wing nut jobs. They're as dangerous or more so than anybody on the right. And the giant corporate media of the United States, the government puppets that we call corporate media in the United States, refuse to acknowledge this. And you're right. We could have a ceasefire if Hamas would actually stick to it. They already figured out that, 15 minutes after they everybody declared a ceasefire, Hamas broke it. So there you go. 1,000 people on the bridge, on Manhattan Bridge. I say get snowplows out and just clear them out. But that's how things would be if I was running the country. I probably would not be a very popular person to some people. Probably be wildly popular to others, because I would do things like, we're bringing snowplows across, and you got about 10 minutes to get out of here, and here we go. So it's kind of crazy. All right, in chat, Artie, you're back. You missed all the fun. We were talking sports ball. I know how much you love that. In chat, I asked the question, do you remember the uproar that was happening when the FAA cleared the United States air over our land for drone usage? Now, I'm talking personal drones, drones for government purposes, drones for business purposes, drones for municipality purposes. There was a big uproar. God, I can't remember how long ago this was. I was on Twitter, I know that. So it had to have been at least in the last 11 years. Talking uproar over our constitutional rights, what this would mean. Well, flash forward to 2023. Mike's got that big semi truck with a car clearing attachment on the front of it going through a bunch of cars. He said that's what should have been done with them. So anyways, little known Michigan court case could have massive constitutional effects across the nation. This is according to the Washington Examiner. Now, this was in my emails today. I just found this as I was getting ready to come on and do the show. And I clicked on the link, and it was the Mackinac think tank up in Midland, Michigan. They send me emails. I'm on their email list. Good place. They got some good stuff. But they had a link to the Washington Examiner. It says, a zoning dispute between a couple and their township in rural northern Michigan might seem like an unlikely topic to make it to the Michigan Supreme Court and appear in national news. But Long Lake Township versus Maxon presents one of the most important constitutional topics that come up in recent years, including novel questions about technology, government surveillance, and property rights. Now, do I have your attention? Because this is important. Todd and Heather Maxon live on 5 acres in Long Lake Township near Traverse City. Township officials cited the couple in 2007 for alleged zoning code violations due to Todd's storage of immobilized vehicles on the property. Todd retired from a career in telecommunications and now spends his time as a shade tree mechanic tinkering with and fixing up used vehicles. Now, he disputed the township's characterization of his property as a junkyard because the vehicles he keeps cannot be seen from the street and his work does not bother his neighbors. The Maxons fought the citation but settled with the township in 2008. The township agreed to bring no further actions against them so long as they didn't increase the number of cars on the property. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The case would be a standard zoning dispute were it not for the extraordinary measures the township took to monitor the Maxons' compliance with the settlement. Long Lake Township officials hired a drone operator to fly at low altitudes over Todd and Heather's home to get photographic evidence of their compliance. It surveyed the properties like this several times between 2010 and 2018. In 2018, armed with drone photos as evidence, the township brought another civil action against Todd and Heather, claiming they violated the 10-year-old settlement. The Maxons believe the photos were gathered illegally and have sought to get them dismissed as evidence. Now, do you see where this is going? Do you see where this is going to really create something that's going to affect the entire United States? Because it's going to. Critically, the township never sought a warrant before sending in the drones. That's critical. The township never sought a warrant before sending in the drones. Surveying a property with drones without a warrant elevates this case to one with major constitutional implications. The Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects people from unreasonable searches. The Michigan Supreme Court, which heard oral arguments in the case in October, will consider two key topics. First, does warrantless drone surveillance at low altitudes by the government constitute an unreasonable search of private property? If it's not an unreasonable search, that would seem to open the door to constant drone patrols above neighborhoods, like they were doing in where? New York City. Remember when they were flying drones back in the summer and making sure people weren't having illegal parties in New York City? Yeah. That's what's going to happen here. Hopefully somebody in New York City, of course, they're all a bunch of basically far-left morons. There's very few conservatives left in New York. They've all moved out. So they probably will just, bow to the boots that are on their neck. Anyways, first, does warrantless drone surveillance at low altitudes by government constitute an unreasonable search of private property? If it's not an unreasonable search, that would seem to open the door to constant drone patrols above neighborhoods, hunting for zoning or other infractions. New York City. Second, if it is an unreasonable search, will the court deny the government the use of illegally acquired evidence in civil cases such as zoning enforcement? So if it is an unreasonable search, will the court deny the government the use of illegally acquired evidence in civil cases such as zoning enforcement? In criminal cases, evidence acquired illegally by the government is typically deemed inadmissible in court. So in other words, if they're flying over your property with a drone and they take a bunch of pictures and they say, well, they were having a party during a pandemic shutdown, which we'll get to in a minute about that. So it's illegal. They should be fined. Well, did you get any kind of a warrant to do that? Well, no, but we shouldn't have to. Yeah, you're supposed to, but no, but we can use it in court, right? This is huge because if they're allowed to use it in court, they can basically arrest you for anything they want to. It adds to the problem we have with big, giant government being able to basically take everything away from you that they want to take just because they said they can take it. So here we go. In criminal cases, evidence acquired illegally by the government is typically deemed inadmissible in court. The Michigan Court of Appeals ruled in the Maxon's case that even if the drone photos were illegally obtained, the township could still use them as evidence. That's wrong. I think that's wrong. The whole basis of this is wrong. What are you doing over my property with a drone? Currently, it is unclear whether the state constitution requires the suppression of illegally acquired evidence in civil investigations, such as local zoning codes, the same way it applies to criminal cases. Requiring a warrant signed by a judge provides a crucial check on the government's ability to violate privacy rights and help prevent abusive searches. That is the only solution to this problem, is demanding that an open warrant saying we're searching your property with this drone. These protections are important in civil cases, not just criminal ones. While it's unclear how the Michigan Supreme Court will rule, suppressing illegally acquired evidence in civil investigations makes good policy sense. If such evidence is not suppressed, government officials, police, regulators, inspectors, could in theory enter someone's property, home, or business without a warrant and search for potential civil infractions. Any evidence discovered could then be used against the property owner in court. So there you go. The Maxon's case is the first one of its kind to rise to a state Supreme Court. Other states are likely to look to the Michigan ruling when similar questions come before their courts. At least 1,400 police departments nationwide use drones for surveillance, patrols, and investigations. If warrantless drone surveillance is deemed a form of reasonable search, there's little standing in the way of routine, invasive drone patrols in any American neighborhood. If the court allows illegally obtained evidence to be used in civil cases, municipal governments could launch legal fishing expeditions against any private citizen. There are major affronts to long-held expectations and traditions Americans have about privacy rights. Now, what I can see is this. Your local government, which you know as well as I do, that local governments can be the most oppressive, communist, just whatever you want to label them, whatever evil you want to label them, they could be that. Because most local governments are run by a bunch of Karens that have absolutely no inkling of an understanding of constitutional law. So, Raptor, what do you mean? Well, private citizens can do what? Shoot them down? The guys in chat, this has struck a conversation, and that's good. That's good. And Rex and Mike, if someone flies a drone above my property, I'll shoot it down because I own the air all the way to the heaven, too. Don't care what government says. I claim what's mine. There you go, guys. And that is, you're right. That's one problem they had with Ring doorbells. They were using it for surveillance and everything else. Many eyes are going to be on this Michigan Supreme Court in the coming months. One thing's clear. Judges and lawmakers should not sacrifice privacy and property rights in the name of government efficiency. What's on my property is my business. And everybody's like, well, if you're not breaking the law, well, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, well, what I can see happening in municipalities, in small areas, counties, cities, and townships, where a bunch of Karens that don't understand the Constitution are running it, is they decide to pass a law and not tell you about it, pass a policy and not tell you about it, and then start flying drones over everybody's houses and then issuing ticket after ticket after ticket because it's like an HOA. I can see HOAs getting a hold of drones, flying it over your property, and then suing you because you're building something. You have something in the back. You've got an antenna for your radio in the back that they don't think should be there. And let's face it, municipal governments, a lot of township governments, they're basically HOAs. That's what they are. Gunpowder plot for the drones. See, Jeff, you and I, we tie these things together. We're on the same mental wavelength. Seems like that happens more often than not. So, yeah, and if this is allowed, then I wouldn't put it past Gretch, our wonderful governor, the next time there's a pandemic and she sees this queenly, absolute totalitarian rule again, and she'll try to do it again. You know she will. God help us if she becomes president of the United States, and she's going for it. There's rumors going around that she's going to basically be the one, not Gavin Newsom, that replaces Biden. I can see her laying down a bunch of queenly edicts and then having drones flown over properties of people that she doesn't like, people that rise up against her, and finding anything they can to come seize whatever they have, seize their assets, do whatever, and jail them. Don't put it past them. She did things like that during the shutdown and the pandemic. She didn't use drones, but she did just about everything else. This just opens the door for the tyrants who have taken over this government to oppress the people of this country just a little bit more. Now, I and several people like me, back when the FAA first cleared the airspace for drones to fly. And they said, yep, drones are coming, municipalities are going to use them, police department's going to use them, government's going to use them. We all went, wait a minute. This is not going to go well. There needs to be tight conditions and regulations on the government and even private individuals for drone usage. We were mocked. We were laughed at. Oh, you guys are just silly. You're being paranoid, blah, 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 blah. How paranoid do you feel now? I wonder, GR, you got a great idea in chat. I wonder if you can make like a mini EMP that just like fries. And, here's the thing. If you've got a Hacker RF SDR radio, you can probably zero in on whatever frequency that drone's flying on. Not saying it's legal, not saying you should do that. It's just, it is possible to zero in on that frequency and take over that drone. Just throwing that out there. But I wonder if you can make a little mini EMP that just takes the power out of it. Sorry, this is a drone-free area. Thank you. Have a nice day. But you'd get sued. You get arrested. I think there's some legalities that, the police will take on that. So anyways, talking about China. And I don't have the music or I'd play it. There's another nasty, horrible virus going through China. They're freaking out. You're already hearing the mumblings. Oh, we're going to have another shutdown. Of all people, of all news outlets, ABC comes out today. ABC. Foot soldier of the Democrat Party says a surge in respiratory illness across China that's drawn the attention of the World Health Organization is caused by the flu and other known pathogens, not a novel virus like COVID was. The country's health ministry said Sunday. Now, this is coming out of China. China's saying, no big deal, nothing to see here. It's just the flu, just normal seasonal sickness. Who do you believe? After 2020, who do you believe? Now, you have to think of this way, too. What happened? And if you haven't heard this, let me just fill you in. Let me give the Reader's Digest version. There's another nasty pneumonia-type virus going through China. China's saying it's no big deal, nothing to see here, relax, people. But on the other hand, at the same time, what happened the last time COVID-19 was released? And by released, I mean, come on, you know as well as I do, that thing was lab created in the Wuhan lab. We all know it. They tried to lie and say it wasn't, but now it's just pretty much accepted, yes, it's lab created. And the thing that we'll never know for sure is whether it was intentionally released or whether it was an accident. But what was going on when COVID was released? I'll tell you what was going on. The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and I'm saying this without any, Trump, or never Trump. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm neutral. But what was happening is he had China backed up against the wall. He was threatening them, saying, look, we have bent over backwards for you people, and you have screwed us from day one. You have stolen property rights, intellectual property rights. You have basically, you're screwing the United States of America. The trade deficit is absolutely insane with you people, and we're going to make it even. We're going to make trade with China to be something that benefits both countries, not just them. China was economically on the way to ruin. And just like magic, all of a sudden, the United States of America, which was going like gangbusters, had an economy that was off the charts. Everybody had a job. Everybody was going crazy, just loving life, except for the left, who kept screeching, that, well, we're going to die. Didn't happen. All of a sudden, we have COVID-19. Mystery. Now, even though China shut down, counties, municipalities, areas within China, they were allowing people from Wuhan to fly all over the United States. Funny that, almost like they were wanting it to spread. So we have another virus going around China, and they're saying it's completely just normal, known pathogens, not anything big. I doubt they're letting the United States actually see what this is. They didn't let them see COVID. They didn't try to give them any samples or anything like that. They kept them from it. But lo and behold, the very next article, United States and China trade accusations over a vessel in the South China Sea, from NBC News. Now, I first saw this on Newsweek. I trust Newsweek about as much as I trust gas station sushi, so I backed it up. Found about 3 or 4 different sources that said the same thing. Okay, we'll go with it. China and the United States exchanged accusations at the weekend over a disputed South China Sea after China's military said it had driven away a U.S. warship that the U.S. Navy said was on a routine freedom of navigation operation. According to a post on the official WeChat social media account of the Chinese People's Liberation Army Southern Theater Command on Saturday, the Chinese military deployed its naval and air forces to track, monitor, and warn away the U.S. destroyer. The U.S. Navy said on Sunday that the hopper had asserted navigational rights in the South China Sea near the Paracel Islands, consistent with international law. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, a conduit for more than $3 trillion of annual shipborne commerce, including parts claimed by Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in 2016 said China's claims had no legal basis. The Philippines and Australia began their first joint sea and air patrol in the sea on Saturday, days after Beijing accused Manila of enlisting foreign forces to patrol the South China Sea, referring to joint patrols by Philippines and U.S. militaries. So, things are oh, yeah, shut up, Jeff. Jeff, I stumble over words as bad or worse than you do, bud. And the problem is age is starting to become a factor. Yes, I'm stumbling over them. Anyways, things are heating up in the China Seas. They're dogging me. It's heating up, and China doesn't look like they're on the right side of the incident. So what happens? Mysteriously enough, all of a sudden, we start getting these weird pneumonia-type pathogen. Now, what just happened, and this just came out today, has been going on for months. The United States of America, Australia, a lot of like the Philippines, people like that, are basically trying to put pressure on China to get out of a lot of those areas because they are policing it. Policing those areas and trying to take advantage of trade and everything else. It's heating up. Now, the regular news doesn't want to tell you how bad it's heating up, but between that, Ukraine, what we're seeing going on between Israel and Palestine, which is drawing in Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and I'll let you decide which sides they're going to be on, it really does feel like we are heading for World War III. Any incident like what just happened in the China Sea, South China Sea, if that would have turned into something that was a confrontation and shots were fired, could have very, very easily sparked the next World War. World War III is going to be bad. There are going to be a lot of deaths. I personally think we got a lot of people in government that encourage it because they've already told you several times they want the population to be about half of what it is right now, maybe a quarter. They would absolutely love it. Of course, they're going to dig holes. They're going to go to Raven Rock and all their little bunkers and hide while we all die from a war that they're trying to start. If they all, and my whole thing, and I'm sure, NSA, if you're listening, I'm going to tell you flat out what my game plan is. If your overlords start World War III and we somehow survive it, I'm going to weld the doors of their bunkers shut. They're going to live like cockroaches for the rest of their lives. I'm going to feed them bugs, and I'm going to tell them that what's going on is for their own benefits, their own safety. They just have to stand their ground forever. But I doubt that'll happen. It's just like a pipe dream of mine. I'd love to do it. Anyways, we're close. Every day we get closer to World War III. We have stupid people in positions of power, especially in the United States of America. We have been taken over by morons. We have an octogenarian that doesn't even realize that he's crapped himself. He can't put more than two words together without screwing it up. He just rambles on aimlessly if he gets off script. And then when you try to ask him questions over something he's done that's stupid, he runs away like a little sissy. His whole administration is the most diverse administration full of idiots and morons I've ever seen. They're the stupidest people I've ever seen in my life. And they will look at you and lie right to your face. Obvious lies. And you tell them, that's a lie. We can prove it's a lie. Nope, you're a homophobe or a racist or whatever because you don't believe exactly what we're saying. That's how the government's being run right now. And in the meantime, we're all going headlong into World War III. If we survive this administration, I'm going to be surprised. We'll have to move to Venezuela, I guess. And that leads us right back up to the top of the hour. It started off so nice and so fun talking about sports ball and then ended up with me ranting about the stupidity going on in the world. And there's so much more. I could probably go another half hour. I'm not going to because it's been a long weekend. I need to go to bed. I'm old. I'm tired. Get off my lawn. We're not even going to get into the Municipal Water Authority of, where was it? CBS reported it this week. Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa. Aliquippa. Where the heck's that? Anyways, little town. Yeah, we'll hit this real quick. We might as well. And this is how close we are, too. Was hacked by an Iranian-backed cyber group. Where's cyber chill when you need it? It's Pennsylvania. Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. The Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa said on Saturday that one of their booster stations had been hacked by an Iranian-backed cyber group. Matthew Motz, the chairman of the board of the directors of Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa, confirmed to KDKA-TV that the cyber group, known as Cyber Avengers, took control of one of the stations. An alarm went off as soon as the hack occurred. Okay. That's 15 minutes south of the GR, Western PA. It's crazy. But there again, that's how vulnerable we are because we have arrogant, stupid people running the United States, allowing this stuff. Keep your heads on a swivel, people. It's not going to get any nicer out there. You can still enjoy life. You can still be happy. You can still be content with what you have, but also learn to keep your head on a swivel. I'm Alan Ray. Keep it locked on KLRN Radio all week long for some of the best programming you're ever going to hear. especially on Sunday nights. You know, I think Jeff and I have dominated Sunday nights. But there was a juxtaposition last night. That was great. That was an excellent show by Orty and Rick. All week long, there's just good stuff going on. And the closer we get to Christmas, yeah, there might be some people taking some time off, but it just gets better and better. And it's going to be snowy. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be bad weather. So just stay inside and keep it on KLR on radio all week. You won't regret it. I will be back, Lord willing, next Sunday night. Same bat time, same bat place. Tune in. Tune in and have a good Sunday night, and it'll ease you into Monday morning. You'll be just a little bit more knowledgeable and probably turn you into a nerd. God bless. We'll talk again soon. I'm Sunday Night with Alan Ray. I'm out.